If you've never heard of this game, and chances are you haven't, consider yourself lucky. In all my years playing video games, this is the worst I've ever seen. And if it wasn't for some of the crap that Steam has greenlighted over the years, oh my god! I'd say it was the worst game ever made. This is supposed to be the moment that Confederate troops, led by the redoubtable Stonewall Jackson, achieved total surprise and routed the Union 11 Corps as they were eating their supper during the Battle of Chancellorsville in the American Civil War. Trust me, there's plenty more where that came from. So join me and let's dive into the nightmare that is Gods and Generals, the game. I'm going to go right through my experience with this game, starting with the initial technical problems, then I'll break down the first level so you can appreciate just how bad it is, and then I'll look at the rest of the game and compare what the developers claimed against the actual gameplay, which should be interesting. Oh, by the way, there's only one copy left on Amazon, so order soon. Check out the chapters below for each section of the video. Gods and Generals was released as a Windows exclusive, lucky Windows, on the 1st of March 2003. It describes itself as an epic Civil War game. It's a tie-in with the film of the same name, although the only thing it really shares with the film is the Civil War setting. Basically, this game was a chronically underdeveloped cash grab trying to piggyback on the success of a multi-million-dollar movie. Now, where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, all over the place. Gods and Generals the film wasn't even a success, as audiences, critics and historians tend to agree. Now for me, the nightmare started even before experiencing the gameplay. At first I could not get this game to run on Windows 10, so I had the bright idea of digging out an old laptop running 8.1, installing the game, which worked, in the main menu at least, but I couldn't get anything to record, and I tried a lot of software. So after checking the graphics card driver, that was slightly out of date, but also the latest available, I checked in with the AMD graphics control panel, which looked like it could have been helpful in the late 90s. Okay, I admit it, that was a terrible idea. Back to Windows 10. And after some considerable hours trawling through forums online, which I won't go through, I finally managed to get the game to work and to record properly. So after all of that, firing up the game, this is what I got. After cranking up the graphics to really get the best out of this thing, I was finally ready to jump into the campaign of the actual game. And then it crashed. But on the second attempt, this is what we got. Right, so the first level. Now, I just assumed that if you are a developer, you want to have some of your best material in the first level, so you really capture the player's attention. Well, first off, I had no idea if I was fighting for the Confederacy or the Union, but guessing by the fact that my right arm is sort of grey, I figured out I must be a Confederate, so I picked up some knives and went over to this Union soldier, who didn't seem to mind. So I was still pretty confused, so I just knifed him, which seemed to work. The first objective is to kill the scouts along this railway line, so I went all the way down to one end, killed this guy, and then back up and killed this guy, but the sound of my gun alerted the nearby Union soldiers, who came after me, in their own kind of way. This game is actually quite hard, despite the dreadful AI, because the gunplay is so bad. That's my excuse anyway. I tried again and was eventually able to kill the Union soldiers by the railway and had to move to the hill to survey the enemy forces, but I wasn't sure exactly what hill it was. Forget that, I'll take out this Union position over here. Yeah, soldiers using melee in this game can't move at all for some reason. I went on to have a look in this grey house, and I had to defeat the Union captain in the barn. This guy was pretty tough. So I went upstairs, found this box of flat cannonballs, and then this cutscene triggered, which went on for a minute and a half of some troops a mile away, slowly walking up the railroad. So I've got to take these troops out. Now I should explain that in this game, muskets are for some reason one-shot weapons that you can't reload, even though you see the AI reloading them. So rather than fix that problem and make them reloadable, like they actually are in real life, the developer just gives you piles of them to pick up and use. I mean, what the hell? By this point, the troops on the railway line were acting suspiciously. So I started taking a few of them out, having to pick up a new musket each time, then scrolling to select the musket, and then pressing Z to zoom in each time. And eventually I completed the objective, despite the fact there were loads of them left. Anyway, whatever. Time to take out the cannons with ketchum grenades, which just make them disappear magically. You shall go to the ball, Cinderella! Eventually, I'd completed all of the objectives, but I had no idea how to finish the mission. So I took out the last Union soldiers. And went back towards the start of the level, and this train tunnel symbol came up, and then the mission ended. And that's it. That's the opening level of Gods and Generals. Only one copy left, so order soon. So, playing through the other 8 levels, here are some highlights. Ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of Bull Run. Failing a mission because you had the audacity to move a bit, or just completely randomly. Bodies that you have to search for an item to continue the level disappearing, so you have to restart the level. Steps that you can't step up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of Fredericksburg. More steps you can't use. And if you get through all of that, on the final level to complete the game, you just sort of walk into a bush. Congratulations! You just completed the final level of the game. Credits. Hang on, special thanks to Ryan Carson and Les Pardew for helping to fill little cracks here and there. What the f***? So there we go, that's it. That's Gods and Generals. All that's left to do is address these bullet points. So just a few highlights. Battle through 9 epic campaigns. Well, that's actually 9 crap missions. In fact, on the menu, it looks like they left space to add more, but they couldn't be asked. Explore massive, realistic game maps. Even experience hand-to-hand combat. Well, we all know what that experience is like. Authentic weaponry, like muskets. Includes actual footage from the film for added realism and excitement. Well, that's true, but it just underlines how bad this game is. For example, at the beginning of Level 4, the Battle of Fredericksburg, there's an exciting scene from the film showing the Union forces crossing the Rappahannock River, and then you get into the game. So what can we say about all of this? Gods and Generals seems to be totally forgotten these days. It doesn't appear on any lists of the worst games ever made, although it definitely should, and I get the feeling I must be in a very small group of people who have actually unlocked this screen. It might not be the very worst game ever made, although it's a close run thing, but it's got to be the worst historical game ever made. On this channel, I usually talk about the history that inspires video games, but honestly, here it's so badly presented, it's not worth mentioning. Nope, Gods and Generals was inspired by something else altogether. So for me, that makes it doubly bad. Not only is it a really crap cash grab game, but it also rides roughshod over a load of really interesting history. So thanks for watching. It's time for me to quit this rubbish now and go and find a game that's actually worth Oh, the music!